Sure.
There are many men out there that we don't talk about that stay in abusive and dysfunctional marriages purely because they still want to keep the order of the house.
Sure. Men are very sensitive. They calculate, they listen to every word,
Analyze.
they listen to the emotion. They get to the emotion, they know what you are meaning with what you are saying.
And what you're doing.
And what you are doing. They might be quiet, but they are very much observant and they know when there is no respect.
The only time where these men are happy, and we've seen it, we've seen fathers dancing on tables in the bar. And then people are asking, whose father is this?
No.
That is his only time and opportunity to be happy.
There are men who literally, Baba di totobala, utlana bamujisitse ne. There's no love portion. It's the tongue. Ne, it's really tortured, it's broken into pieces, and then ultimately it's that piece then to say, no, let me keep quiet.
So gents, I hear that you guys are talking about mental health and things that are happening. But in the man, that I see, what is your take on the issue that we have to do things for the sake of peace? A lot of men are just doing things, they are quiet, they are dying, they are killing themselves for the sake of peace. You know, and that has been a question because since you're addressing the issue of mental health, so I just want to find out from Nuguti, what is your take on that matter?
Well, this one is important. Can we record it? You know, let's record it. No, ladies and gents, you know, this is a very important matter, and you know us, Insightful Exchange. We cannot leave this matter out of the platform. We need to introduce it so that people can learn. Let's take it up now. Record now, episode 38. Let's call it episode 38.
Maria's Tandinda.
Yeah. You know, we're not changing only families. We also need to talk about men.
Yes.
And they don't have platforms. So we want, the reason why I want to record it, I want the gents to go get their women. They need to sit together and watch this episode because sometimes it is the women who contribute to this situation. I'm saying we are doing the recording of this one. Let's go. Now, Baba, you're raising something very profound here. You say, Amajita, they stay in relationships, marriages ending.
Sure.
And they say we are quiet because of peace.
Sure.
And you're seeing now most of them going around carrying this burden. Where they're not happy, they're not functioning, and when you talk to them, it's I just want to maintain peace and lean. But you can see that these people are dying.
Exactly.
No. Fundis.
No. Mr. Masubelele, you are confusing me. Especially the conversation of this man. It's really how can peace brings turmoil? Because this man in the house, he wants to bring peace as much as possible. But you say, but this man does not have peace.
Yes.
The peace that which he says is bringing. But there's no peace.
You are going to appreciate why Lomchita brings this conversation. Because we are born. Let him tell us what he's seeing out there so that we've got an idea. Because sometimes people think that what they are doing brings peace. But it doesn't.
It doesn't. So the issue is Bafitu. You have a man in the house that he does not feel like a man. So he's called names. He's called stupid. And particular stuff is not even working at some point, you know. And the issue of saying when kids do something wrong, you start to say, no, you do something wrong, like, no, but yagabantuan. You know. So sometimes you find yourself in a space that I can't say anything. So you get in, something's wrong is happening, and you go like, okay, for the sake of peace, that abang chelinda bazam, so I'm just gonna be quiet and like, oh, I know it's okay. But later on, this is the problem that we have with him. Then you find a guy, instead of him going home, he spends time namachita somewhere drinking and doing other things because so whenever he comes home, nothing else. So that's why I'm saying the issue that is there, because now you start to realize that something is happening emotionally and also mentally. Therefore, the question is then, how do you help such a guy to say, do I continue doing it for the sake of peace? Because at the end of the day, something's going to happen. I'm going to bust. Or this other guy was going to bust. That's why some guys, they kill women. They beat them up. The reason is because of this thing said, but there's nowhere to take out this thing. We are inside. So therefore, the question is, how does this particular person get help?
You're prophesying something here. That is in the Bible. And you know why? I'm listening to him as he speak when I'm from this. This thing is written about. Good, no wonder men spend time in the desert than ending Thabo.
Sure.
No wonder men are willing to live on the rooftop.
On the rooftop.
The Bible says that,
Cheetah goes to his house. There's a joke, Yaguchi. There's a guy there sitting in his car. But this guy has been sitting in this car for 2 hours. Ngoba usaba kungena endlini yakhe. Asaba umfazi wakhe. Lo amlobola ngenkomo zakhe.
Usaba ukubhekela i-TV ayibadalayo yakhe. Usaba ukudla kwakhe.
So hence I'm saying you're speaking prophecy here, because and I think maybe it's unconfusing you now, because now you start to see Guti, indeed. This point is really relevant at this point, because amadoda vela, they're suffering, my brother. And what we see out there is the guy who did this.
Sure.
The guy who behaved that way. But out here, man, he can't be himself.
Sure.
So whose peace is he actually bringing into the house?
Look, man, we might be laughing. Machida no mahlangene kunzima. Sihleka ngala isivela khona.
Sure.
Because you touched something very profound for me. And then we kind of made a rhythm out of it.
Sure.
Usaba ukudla kwakhe, So the element of fear is the element of fear, because what you have touched, ukuthi lendoda ikwakhe, but the wife ahlala nayo does not give him peace. Ne? The wife ahlala nayo is always really bringing issues, creating issues, creating events, is really talking nasty, is doing all of these. And as a result, that's where mental health matters comes in. As a result, this man develop anxiety. So, though we'll speak it as fear, and then there's so we can play around. We can play around with that to use it as a simple language that there's fear. But
let me give you a nice term to use.
Okay.
So he starts to walk on eggshells.
Yes. Look. This is a man. This is a man as a result of the situation at home. This is a man makahleli namajita nje manje ne sihleli la i-call yangena. With this call ne uyayizwa with this one, man, it comes from my wife. Starts shaking before even shakes.
But belly
and then that's how far this anxiousness and walking on eggshells it goes. Good thing. You would find yourself even in the absence of this woman in your life.
This anxiety.
You always wonder.
You're jittery.
The message comes even before you read it. What then? What now? And then this is the mental condition that men are finding themselves in. That is, they already have the fear in the absence of fear. Now, even if there is, even at the time when probably the call from this man's wife is just with good news. He's not expecting good news. Because all the time, whenever gets conversation from his woman, it must be something wrong.
But even the good news, I'm thinking about even the good news, the way it comes. Hey, why is he? You know, but by the time they tell you, they've already told everybody else.
Exactly.
You know, you in fact they're telling you because somebody asked, oh, what is a papa haina? Let me just call him, you know. So you're even the good news create anxiety because it's not good for you.
Yeah, you can't say by the way.
By the way.
You know, you can't say by the way. No, I forgot. Let me just tell you.
Yes.
Another thing about it, because once you get a call like, no, I was just telling you.
Yes.
That element also says to you, you amount to nothing.
Yeah.
Whether we tell you or not.
Or not, it's immaterial.
Yeah. And therefore the question is, okay, if this thing persists, therefore, I might as well continue to stay where I am.
Yeah.
Because it's not important for me to get the celebration.
Yeah.
They've done everything else. Party, we are getting But no, we thought of doing this, but don't worry.
Yeah.
You know, and therefore that builds up to everything else as a man.
Yeah.
Because then you start to feel inferior at the same time. You start to feel small.
Yeah.
And bit by bit, that's where you start the issue about moving out.
Yeah.
At some point when people start to get divorced.
Yeah.
Because now the guys start to check out, but there's a connection.
Yes.
That's what the problem is. Most of the guys have checked out of marriage.
The body's home.
The body's home, but it's already checked out. Yeah. That's why anything you do.
Man, wait. You're moving very fast. You're moving very fast.
Yeah.
You are saying they check out while they are still in.
Yeah.
They check out while they're still in.
So they're already divorced.
In essence,
mentally,
psychologically,
yes. Mentally,
yes.
Still sleep in the same bed, eat the same food in the house, but then out.
Is it that the reason why they would keep peace? Is it the keeping of peace as a result of saying I'm out of this relationship? Or it could say I'm still here, but I just want to keep peace. Is the peace for the house, or is the peace for self?
I think you know, maybe we need to find a name for it. And I think now that you mentioned earlier on, Guti, I'm confusing you. You see, this is a man who's in a confused state. Ngoba, the way he defines peace now, he stepped out of what peace actually means.
Yes.
He's now operating on what they want as peace.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily Guti, there's actually peace, because what they want as peace is to call him and say, you know, that's he can't even question that Guti, why, you know, am I being referred to as that? So that the moment he raised that, it becomes war on the side. Guti, you know, all these things now start to become his problem. Now, to a point that this man, when he was to raise an issue with his wife, Endlin, most of the time, he ends up being the one apologizing.
Exactly.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sure. He's now saying, do I need to find myself in a space where every time I'm trying to raise an issue with my woman, I end up apologizing? I end up becoming the one who's been gaslighted? You know, so he chooses no longer to raise these issues.
Exactly.
But because he's got children, but also, you see, with men, again, and many people don't understand this about men. Men don't just up and leave.
Yeah.
And that's why he said he's there, but he's not there. But don't men just up and leave because, you know, especially when they've invested, you know. And unfortunately, sometimes men don't leave because of constraints. You know, he looks at himself, you know, I'm a bit older, I've got this health condition, and, you know, my children need me more, whatever the case is. So he looks at those, even though he's suffering from his own wife. So there are many men out there that we don't talk about that stay in abusive and dysfunctional marriages. Purely because they still want to keep the order of the house. And that's why you speak about this peace. So for him, it is better for him to suffer in silence, but for his children to be happy.
Because the consequences of him leaving are worse.
Exactly. So when he does his own mathematics, and men do that, men are very logical. So he looks at, okay, here I'm alone. I can still come here and be told, Guti, you are nobody. I can take that because I've already now become immune to a certain extent.
That is for the sake of peace.
I understand. I can take that. But my children might not be able to handle that.
Exactly.
And you do not want your children to
go
be
through
exposed
that.
to that.
Yeah. But on the other hand, he's looking at his wife. He says, you know, umfazi wami ngiyamthanda, and I want you to understand this concept. Ngiyamthanda, but she does not understand how rough and cruel the world is out there. You know? So as much as she treats me this way, she will not treat another man in this way, and that man will stay. So I also need to protect her from that which she doesn't know about.
Yeah.
So I cannot tell her that because she'll be...
Man, I don't know. Both of you are too fast today.
Yeah.
You are too fast. Because I want you to repeat that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's very critical for me.
Yes.
I want you to repeat that.
Yeah.
To say the world is very
cruel
outside.
Yeah. But because she's used to me understanding her behavior and her nonsense, she thinks she can go out and do it to somebody else. And I'm taking it because, this is the woman I grew up with. This is the woman I gave 4 kids or 5 kids, whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
This is the woman I made a decision to invest in and to invest with. So there's a lot of me that is invested in this whole family setup.
Yeah.
In her, in the children and everything else. But also, there's another aspect of maintaining a order as well as creating a system that is functional for my children.
Yes.
So these kids need to go out and say the father and mother are present at home.
Exactly.
Yes.
But this woman might not be seeing that. She treats me bad, thinking he won't tell me anything. I'm bringing my own money anyway. So her reasoning is not based on purpose. It's based on what she can bring for herself. You are looking at the bigger picture, which is obviously you are a visionary. So then you say, because I'm a visionary, I'm able to see how the future of these children ends without me. I'm able to see how her future ends without me.
Exactly.
So let me take all these things that she's doing. It's killing me because no matter how many times I'm trying to address it with her, she makes it my problem.
Exactly.
So for her to be happy and for my children to be happy, I'm going to become a sacrificial lamb.
Exactly.
This is what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Sure. Man, I get that. I get that. It's so powerful in a sense that men, they absorb all this pressure.
Yeah.
They take all criticism.
Yeah.
They take all the punches. Yeah. And if they can ultimately now I'm bringing this to say, men, as you said, they are able to calculate.
Yeah.
They bring matters into value. To say, for men, when that relationship fails, they are the ones who lose more.
Yeah.
Because it's their name, basically, that which builds this family.
Yeah.
And then when everything goes wrong, when this relationship fails, you'll understand, of course, whenever people are going through divorce, you'll find those conversations, how man takes it too personal to say how his character is getting now to be wretched, how his person is going to be falling apart, and then how are the children going to survive. That is why, at the end of the day, men absorb that. Then they die alone. To say and then for the sake of peace, then it comes into that. Because it might not be the peace of now. When I get to this, it's not the peace of now. It's to say, it's the peace of tomorrow. To say, if I mess up here, and then I'm out of this house, what are my children going to become? Because we do understand, guys, to say the man factor or the father factor in the lives of children is very much important.
We've got research.
Yeah.
We've got research.
It's very much important, either in a girl or in a boy.
It's immaterial.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you see, like you'll see, let's go on social medias, for instance, because that's where we find a lot of exposure.
Sure.
Yeah. These girls, women, does not matter how old they are. They twerk, they show themselves up. And then from the distance, you will know, Huri, how nandate. There's no father here. Because there is no father who can allow such to happen. And then that's where we say the presence of the father. And then we say to the fathers, to the men, to say, never take it for granted your presence.
But even the people that live in that household, now, they shouldn't take it for granted. Because you see, sometimes the father can see that if I remove that presence, I see the end. The Bible says the Lord sees the end from the beginning. Now, the other thing that you are bringing now, you spoke about the future peace, is that, you see, most of these men, Mfundis, is that they are going to endure that because they've already calculated that if I were to leave, I'm going to be accused of the one who has abandoned the ship.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm going to be dragged to the maintenance court.
Sure. Yeah.
Number three, I might not live happily with the other women that I bring into the space. Yeah. So this man looks at all those things and say, am I willing to still go through that? Because here, I'm suffering, but I'm suffering within a particular structure.
Yeah.
And there's no other people involved. The moment I step out of this, the suffering intensifies. You understand what I'm saying? So let me, for the sake of these kids and their peace and their future, let me take the beating.
Yeah.
You see, so there are men on daily basis. And you see, you observed it. Now, what is scary about what you raised is that men can no longer hide it.
No, they can't.
They are carrying it on their shoulders.
On their shoulders.
When they walk at the mall, we can just look at the couple and say, that man is abused.
I know you can tell. A cartel and all. You know how do you see the cartel?
Yeah.
Have you seen when you take the sponge and put it in the water?
Yeah.
How it absorbs the water?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's light, but because it is absorbed.
Yes.
It looks like it's okay.
It's okay.
But
until
you squeeze it.
Yeah.
What comes out of it? Sometimes you can't even handle it.
You can't even handle it.
You can't even handle it. And that's why you see that a lot of times. You know, that I'm going to take everything as it comes. But and this is what I always say most of the time, that every time man takes this pressure and everything else, there's always a place where bakritela corner. And the danger is, la bakritela corner, what advice do they get?
But listen to this. And I love what you're saying because we had an incident recently. I want you to think about this guy who goes to drink on Friday morning, Friday evening at 6 o'clock and come back home at 4 o'clock on Saturday morning. And eventually leaves again, you know, because it's not like this guy is suffering from alcohol problem. He's escaping.
Yeah.
You know, he's escaping and then he wants to keep himself drunk. Because he can't be sober in his marriage.
Yeah, no. But being sober, things will happen.
It's this thing. I think I've heard in the radio some other time. That why men before when they knock off, most of the men before they knock off, they pass to the bottle store first, and then one of the comment was saying, I can't get home sober.
I can't look at this person when I'm sober.
To say I can't. It must not happen.
It's scary, man. Fundis, man.
Yeah. And you know what does that do to a person? Because it numbs you.
Yes.
Yeah. So whatever word they will tell you on that day, Awizwa.
Okay.
You don't hear it.
So you take. So it's anesthetic.
It's anesthetic. Yeah. You know, I'm talking to some guys and like, nah, but she can do whatever. No, I'm not.
I won't even hold it against her. I didn't
I'm
even
going
feel
straight to bed, Baba. And early in the morning, I must be at work by 7. But I wake up at 5.
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Muna, listen, we know that the statistics in South Africa of alcoholism is high.
Yes.
Of course, we know that now even more of the teenagers are coming in, but we know that men are more into alcohol. Will this be the factor?
I think you know. If you go
look apart from just casual drinking. Now we don't talk about that. We don't talk about casual drinking, but we talk about this serious drinking.
But let's bring it home.
Okay.
Because
yes.
that research says most men, before they go home, they pass by the bottle store.
Yeah.
And here
and some listen now. Some not only they only drink, but some they also come eaten.
They
get a plate. They get a plate somewhere.
McDonald's does the work.
But again, the eating has got nothing to do with the wife who doesn't cook nice food.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with this man does not get fed ending.
Yes.
He buys the grocery, but he does not even eat the same grocery that he buys.
Yeah.
You know, because his wife makes it an effort that I'm not going to cook for you.
Yeah.
She makes noodles for the children, and then they eat, and then she eats whatever, and then this guy comes home to suffer. And there are men who are going through that. Now, let's bring it home quickly. Now, the research is there. It's telling us that these men drink when they go home. Who are they going to?
Sure. To their wives.
And I'm going to bring another dimension now. Now, there has been a poll that asked men, Gucci, why don't you guys look forward to your birthdays and Father's Days? And this guy says, we've learned to kill expectation.
Yeah, sure.
Because if something is going to be done for you, it must be paid by you.
Yeah. if it's not paid by you, you get the socks.
Yeah. If you're lucky. If you're lucky.
Yeah,
now,
pack of socks
now it's like they punish you for being a man in that space. And in our own homes, we feel like strangers. So in our own homes, we don't want to raise expectations. This man says, the people at my workplace, they are more likely to buy me a cake and sing happy birthday for me than the people in my own home.
Guys, the things you are talking, are they real?
They're real.
No, they're real.
No, real.
In this world.
Yeah,
in this world.
They happen.
So there are men who are listening to us who relate so strongly.
Trust me,
with
they do.
this.
Not only men, husbands.
Husbands.
Yeah. Now, you know, if you look at social media, the guys who are having it nice are boyfriends. The boyfriends, they even buy them the Quanta Mool in Mercedes-Benz. But husbands, and we're talking about husbands who are married here, who take care of their own homes. So these guys, they pass by the bottle store, like he said now, they numb the pain. Now, the pain that they are numbing, it's not a physical pain. It's the emotional toil that they carry every day that they can't speak to anybody about. That even if they are given an opportunity to go speak about, they come with a woman who cries in front of everybody. And that creates an impression that this man, Uyang Sogolisa, so that she doesn't take accountability. So that man cannot talk to anybody at all. That even when he goes to the pastor says, Umwenzeni.
No, you're always the culprit, by the way.
You are the culprit. You are one. So most men have decided to keep quiet.
Exactly.
They've kept quiet from the church. They kept quiet. The only time where these men are happy, and we've seen it. We've seen fathers dancing on tables in the bar. And then people are asking, whose father is this?
No.
That is his only time and opportunity to be happy.
Yeah.
Because there's nowhere else he can be happy.
I saw a clip when we were talking about it, especially social media. Ne? So this guy comes home. Apparently, it seems like the wife finds out that the guy has another woman. And so she screams, by the way, she talks to him. What is she better with? What is it that she has that I don't have? You know, she's saying a lot of things, but the response of this, and it's so calm. You know, he says this guy, he's calmer than you. He's softer than you.
Yeah.
He doesn't call me names.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You know, I think.
Yes, I saw that.
You know, and we know it's social media, you know. But certain things, when you look at them, there's an element of truth in it, you know. Because and the problem that we have is because we have people that when you got married to me, you know, good to me now, I just say things as they are.
Yeah.
But they can't get the same thing in return. Because when you speak as they are, I have a man that said to me, bruh, you know, if I want to cry and take out the pain, you know what I do? I'm like, I thought probably I'm going to go into a bar. It's like, no, I get into a shower.
Yeah.
So as I pour water, I cry. So I come out, I have a lot of, like, Haman's again.
But then
I'm not crying, but I was crying.
For the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, for the last 45 minutes. And you wonder why he takes a long shower like this. No, he's just crying. You know, because not all men drinks.
Exactly.
Others don't drink.
They don't. How do they deal with
the mechanism towards that? You know how they deal with it. There's a lot of element that is zagalayo, you know, and I think maybe the idea moving forward is that finding a way to say men must be able to sit and really talk about this thing. You know, we've got men as we speak. Another man today morning, Maskul Manje, woke up on the couch. Because he was told to sleep on the couch.
Or in his car.
In your own house.
Or in his car.
In your car.
Yeah.
You know, because these things are very happening. And find that solution to say, how do you then bring them to a space whereby they are able to understand and to be understood? You know, it's very important. And that is why you said something earlier on about we talk to men, but sometimes they don't even come to these things. So they rather go and sit and drink somewhere else. Because even these things that we are talking about, they don't even know how to handle them anymore. You know, so it's a process that, like you said, you know, that you train them. There must be trainings that we do for men. You know, awareness that is done for men to be able to understand, but most importantly, to understand and get their identity. Because once the identity is gone,
sure,
the whole nation suffers.
And you know what? And I love what you're saying. You know, you just made me realize that, you know, another thing that sometimes we make as a mistake is that we make men to believe that they are wrong.
Yeah.
You know, even when we start to speak, it's him. Yeah. You know, him. You know, that thing we spoke about earlier on when we hear into the divorce, you know, and when men want to come out and speak, we make them believe that no, there's something wrong with you. You know, social media says something that is, and I found it so upset. And the church also we teach that, or church teach that as well, to say, you know, if a woman is loved properly, she will submit naturally. You know. And I always say that if that was the case, Eve would not have let the snake to come into the picture, you know, because we don't have any evidence of Adam treating Eve, you know. So and the reason why that is said is so that the women don't take responsibility. They want to say, if you see me dysfunctional, it's not me, it's the man. It's not leading properly, you know. But we've got Ahab. We've got Ahab.
We've got Ahab.
Yeah. And the Bible tells us he was just Jezebel. A calm guy.
Yeah.
But he had Jezebel. So, you know, so it doesn't follow that if a woman is loved properly, he will submit and love the man the way he should be. Yeah. It doesn't always work like that. And the reason why I condemn that in strongest terms is that it creates an impression that men are failing. You see where the problem is. And that's why now that most men end up no longer talking, because when he comes and we question, he goes into, maybe my leadership is bad. Sure. And a man must lead, a man must discipline, a man must set foundation, a man must be a visionary. Yes. Now, there are women who don't like a man who calls them out. Exactly. They don't like it. So what they do, they quickly now turn the tables to say, you are the problem. So eventually that man realized that, you know what, now I'm too deep. I've got 4 kids with this woman. The woman knows that he's not going anywhere. So what does he do? He kills this man in silence and lean.
Exactly.
Sure.
So when now what you are seeing in the street, and this is worrying because even men, that sponge that you're speaking about, they can no longer hide their own suffering. It's so visible.
Guys, this is a painful story. It's a painful conversation which you are making. In the fact that really there are men who are suffering to that extent. To an extent, of course, of understanding that, and then this is what every man must know: a desire to rule men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you find that? Let's bring it in, because they only read Proverbs 31.
Yeah.
But I also have a question about that Proverbs 31.
We will talk about it. We've got time.
We currently have very few Proverbs 31. They might say I'm a Proverbs 31.
They don't know what it means. Don't worry.
Yeah. Look, is a desire to rule over men. Yeah. Of course, you say, let's take it where it's begun. Look, from the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
That's where it started.
That's where it started, from the beginning.
But in the beginning, look how far it went.
Goes, yeah.
Look how far it started. It started from not only Eve, when was tested, was of course, she know that if she can be, she wanted to compete with God.
Not her husband.
Not her husband. No, the husband is not in her league.
That's why
the husband is not in her league.
No, true.
Yeah. It's not that you are going to be over your husband. You're going to be better than your husband.
Over God.
God.
The maker.
So if I'm a bit funny, you're too fast now. You're the one who's fast.
It's me now. It's too
So you are telling me that Eve looked at herself and said, I will be above this God.
Yeah.
If I eat this.
If I eat this,
Yo.
I'll be above God. So this man, that is why now when we come now into our level, you'll understand that our wives, they started to express themselves as having more intuition, more the hearing from the Lord, more directed from the Lord. That is why most then they become kind of prophetess. You don't know where is this prophetessness come from. They now would come that they know the depth of you, the deep sense of you. They know they've got intuition, they've got that element because and then it's those, and then you get now into the language, you get into the way that they speak with you, that you are nothing. You cannot be matched with me.
And the moment they live it becomes their reality. You will never become anything to them.
Sure. Yeah. And it's unfortunate to say most men have left that tree to grow. Now it has roots. Yeah. It is very foundation.
It's a baobab tree now.
Yeah, now it's very foundation. It's rooted that this your wife is used to, who just scrap. And that for you not to respond. Yeah, you don't exist. You are nothing. And then that is why every time I'll feel high ubachi. There are men who literally baba di totobala utlana bamujisitse ne. There's no love portion. It's the tongue. Is really tortured, is broken into pieces, and then ultimately is that piece then to say, no, let me keep quiet, so that now there are these other factors. Then other men are going through that to say, any touch is a move. You are quiet, you are still poked, you are still stepped, you are still given way. So give one need. And then you speak, you try to respond. Look, once you try to respond, you know that the floodgates are open. And then you try to address this factor to say, okay, this is the matter, but that matter is left. And then other things.
We are addressing other things.
A lot of things in the process, No, so you mean what you mean movie? Like, I did not say that, no.
No, but that's what you're implying.
Yeah, that's what you're implying, you know?
Yeah. And then we say to the man now, because now we needed to really ground men. We need to establish men in this instance to say, in as much as we speak, we bring the reality in terms of where men are, and then that they ultimately drink. And then others, then they become sick. Of course, they become sick.
Commit suicide.
Yeah, they commit suicide. Of course, they commit suicide. They can't speak out because now they wonder, to whom can I speak with? But now there is this element. Now there is this element to say, as we said earlier on, to say you are able to see a man who is frustrated, even in the mall, because it's like a sponge, say, that has absorbed water. But now this other element is that even other women, they are able to see
exactly.
This man is alone. This man is lonely. This man is desperate.
Exactly.
And then they come closer. And then the man, as a result, I get it others, we say, because we need to bring this, to say others ultimately, they find themselves into liquor, they drink. But others, they find the women who come and notice them. And they become a comfort. They become a safe place.
You look tense.
Yeah.
Is everything okay at home?
Yeah.
Who's speaking for you?
Why not out
I heard, I like radio more. Yeah, so they spoke. This man then confessed ultimately in the radio to say, when he goes to work, skaftini ebamupha ukudla ngaso if they happen to make a skaftin, le skaftin say ice cream.
Yeah.
He goes
I got only tape away.
and then now he says now there is this woman at work. He always sees me, man. And sometimes then he realize and the ladies will say they are not. I remember the other day now, this woman comes with a Tupperware divided.
Yeah.
It's divided, and then also is a couple of Tupperwares, and then there's a food, there is this and that, and then I remember a colleague take and eat. That man, Ashevas kaftini sakotlu, negitsa ice cream, and get Tupperware, and then Mona Dijo Dibe Uefela
and they're not even nice.
They are not even nice. And then here it's really
Kitty colors.
Dibe Ue Hanshe Mona Are
Mama Peti
and Urwa Cheka Tena Tsakutlu ne Kitsama Ubani. This one are fresh, man.
We were born this morning.
Yeah, or this one they are from this morning. Then I melted from that time. I realize how can I be loved as well? Yeah. Because now the interpretation goes there to say someone can care.
He interprets that as honor.
As honor.
As honor.
Oh man, the thing that which he longs for.
Yes.
And then this is a conversation that which it cuts across to say, look, you can do many things to a man. Don't reap his honor.
Take it back to God.
Yeah.
What is God? What is Murimari? And if I am the father, where is my honor?
Sure.
Hey.
Don't disrespect.
No, don't
disrespect.
Honor me.
Give me honor.
Yeah.
We might have a disagreement.
Sure. But honor must remain.
Honor me. Yeah. Yes. And there's things that which people do not know. The level of sensitivity man has.
Yeah.
Men are very sensitive. They calculate, they listen to every word, they listen to the emotion. They get to the emotion, they know what you are meaning with what you are saying.
And what you're doing.
And what you are doing. They might be quiet, but they are very much observant. And they know when there is no respect. They know when there is no respect in your words, in your behavior, that this woman does not respect me, does not honor me. And then that is what many men are looking for. And as a result, we had a session some other time where we spoke to say, a man ultimately leaves his mansion.
To go
at Mandela Square.
And settle in his shake.
Angene emkhukhwini oyenza nje. Yeah. Kodwa makangena kuloyo mkhukhu oyenza ngathi uyandiza. Finds comfort, love, honor, respect. He's understood that this is not a child of the house. He's a man, he's the head.
True. And you know, to attest to that, I'm not going to mention names, but it's a true story what you're talking
I'll not
about.
tell us names.
We don't mind. We want to go shake his hand. You are inspiring us.
Names, man.
Names are very expensive, sure. So this guy, we used to work together, me and this guy, you know. It's Fagamatend and this guy, you know. And whenever we go to his house, we get to his house, and you know how Zulu men are. Zulu men don't play around. And he gets to his house. Every time he gets there, how things are done are very different. Oh, like a microwave. And mind you, when you work with tent and other things, you don't have time. And this thing happened. And one time he says to him, man, go now something busy now, you know. Let's go somewhere. I'm thinking so fagi tent la. Must figure out fagi tent singena kungedla ngase 18 side ngali. You must know the place. Kunezozo la. You know, Masengena da, and this is the true story. Masengena, first thing first, in minutes, singenile, a cup of coffee, helpers with the food. As drinking coffee, amanzi sakathelile ukuthi ayogezo. Impahla zibekiwe. uyangena uyageza make phuma ngachitha amanzi ayachithelwa amanzi uhleli la kuhlela iplate yokudla.
This guy is talking about the movie. What's the name of the
It's
movie?
not a movie.
He says the true story.
What's the name of the movie?
It's a reality.
This sounds like Tyler Perry's movies.
It's a reality. You know, it's a reality.
Yeah.
You know, it's a reality. I'll call him at one point.
Yeah.
This guy, everything that was done, and he says to me, therefore, from what I'm seeing where I am, Kelly Corner, you know, he literally moved out of the house. Built a house and ate inside at a big stand.
Man, this story, it says you are expected.
Exactly.
We've been waiting for you. This is the place of safety.
Yeah.
It's a safe heaven. It's a place of,
you are worth
of
it.
peace.
Exactly.
You're worth it.
Yeah.
You are loved. You are welcomed. This story, it says that.
You know, even Bella Pamfundis, I want to show you something here that as you guys are speaking, it bothers me. It bothers my soul. And why does this bother me? The people that we engage with mostly are Christians. They're Christians. Now, within the Christian doctrine and the Christian word, there's something that God says. He says, you wives, submit to your husband as to the Lord.
So,
Guys, this thing is loaded.
too much.
This thing,
Yeah.
this one sentence is loaded, guys.
Yeah.
He says, submit to your husband as to the Lord. So basically, the statement or this line or this word says, you want to worship God. You are going to worship God through your conduct towards your man. And in fact, in First Peter 3,
men say this because you do not want people to rewind.
yeah, sure.
You want them to hear this one more time.
Yeah, over and over. It says, you want to worship God as a married woman. It says you are going to do that through your conduct towards this man. That's the worship that I would accept as God. That is what I see as honor as your God. Because once you have treated that man the way you would treat me, then you've worshipped me. You've come to me. That's what the word says. But it repeats itself in the book of 1 Peter 3. It says, wives, if your husbands are out of touch and they're misbehaving and they don't believe the Christian word, it says, don't talk to them. It says, don't say anything to them. It says, your conduct towards them will lead them to me.
Yeah. And do not just show off in your outward appearance.
Yeah. Now let's break that down. It says, you see, the problem with most of you, if you go to that scripture, it says, the problem with most of you, you want to be like Queen Vashti. You put outside appearance at top priority. It says, you see, your outside appearance are seen by many men out there. You can put your pictures on social media. Many men will comment and say, you are pretty. But it says, inside of you, there is a certain level of beauty that only your man can see.
So, man, look. I want to. You're going to take it from there, ne?
Yeah.
Because this is comes, ne?
Yeah.
This is come. It comes to say, there's so many men.
Yeah.
Ne? There's so many men who wish to see their wives beautiful at home.
Yes.
Now, physically now.
Yeah.
Physically now.
Yeah.
Because many men, their wives, when they come home, they paint themselves, they put all this.
They transform.
They transform themselves. That is, they don't prepare themselves to look also beautiful to their man.
Yeah.
They don't dress up for their man. So whenever they dress up, whenever they put makeup, it's for the other people outside.
For other people out there, for the colleagues at work.
Yes.
The other men.
The other men.
That to a point that these women start to believe that their destiny lies with other men.
Yes.
They're not even ashamed to tell you. Yeah. That maybe my destiny lies with this other man. Now, God is not confused.
Yeah. Sure.
God is not confused.
Because they never prepare themselves for their
husbands to serve this man. So most men in their marriages, whether they are Christians, They are unbelievers. And the Bible teaches, it says, even if your husband is an unbeliever, it says honor him.
Honor him. That's the message. That's the message, man.
That is why before I was pointing out the issue when we were talking about the Proverbs 23.
Yeah. They did what?
Because if you look at what this woman does in the Proverbs 31, the thing that she does, that woman, I mean, do they really exist? Because you can start pointing out questions, because the Bible says that with everything that she does, she makes her men look.
Yes.
The man is respected.
That's a mission.
I wanted you to take me there. I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, when are you going to get there?
Yeah.
It's the first thing. It says, before you can be that woman, because that woman is not operating from strength.
No.
She's operating from wisdom.
Exactly.
Yes.
But that wisdom comes from the Lord.
Exactly.
But it says, before you can tap into that, you honor the man.
You honor the man.
That's why it says, and her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. You cannot be a Proverbs 31 woman if you don't even have a husband.
Yeah.
Never.
So
before we go anywhere,
we don't get there.
We don't get there.
We don't get
there.
there.
And then secondly, you cannot be a Proverbs 31 woman if you cannot honor the husband.
Exactly.
Because the honor is not going to the husband, it goes to the Lord.
Yeah.
And that goes also with what Paul speaks about. When he says, first of all, Ephesians, submit one to another.
Yeah.
No? There must be a sense of respect.
Yeah.
And then moves to say now, men, loves your woman.
Now we are bringing it home.
Yeah. Bring it home. Love your woman as Christ has loved the church. And he was willing to die for the church. And women must submit to the men as unto the Lord. So this is where the problem was most of the time, to say, the manner in which you say you are submitting to the Lord, you wake up at 12, at 3, you pray because of your mind is full of the Lord. But the man that you have next to you does not get the sense of
he is devoid.
Yeah. Sure.
He is devoid of you.
Yeah. And because of it, I discovered within our Christian faith, there's a lot of pretense.
Let's help them. Let's help those. Let's help those women quickly.
Yeah.
Let's do this quickly. And we wanted them to go read the book of Zechariah 7.
Sure.
And why is this book very potent in this matter? The priests went to complain to God. And they said to God, God, we've been fasting. We've been praying. We've been offering. We've been doing all these things in your name. Oh, for the 75 years, you guys been fasting. Were you doing it for me? Now there's this woman who sleeps every day, speaking to God and not speaking to their husband.
Sure.
Fasting for God and not even doing anything for their husband. Now, and the church needs to get to a point whereby one day, we stand up in church in the morning and say, for those of you who have not honored their husband this Sunday morning, go home.
Please. Sure.
Go home. Go honor your husband. If need be, let your husband tell us that you came home to honor him. Because we keep telling them to fast and pray for this husband to change.
Yeah.
Sure.
But this is a husband who feels dishonored. There is no amount of praying and fasting that will make a dishonored husband to feel honored.
Yeah.
Are you?
Sure. Man, that was powerful, man. We are landing now.
Yeah.
We are landing.
And before you land, I want us to hear. Let me hear from my brother.
Yes.
If we were able to give him.
Before he gives that, to see if we have really arrived where you wanted us to arrive.
Where he was taking us.
Yes. We need to emphasize, he brought the issue of Christian family to say, it's amazing that the people who know the truth, they don't live by the truth.
The very same God they profess to be following, they don't follow him.
They don't follow him. They don't follow the teachings of the Bible. Of course, the scriptures rolls us into saying the women who revered God, like Sarah, calling the husband
master,
my master, my Lord. And then that kind of honor, that kind of respect. What we are saying today, to say, let the women honor the husbands God has given them. That the husband must really bring the real peace in the house. They must not absorb pressure and absorb your insults, absorb your vulgar, absorb the pressure and the negativity for the sake of peace. It must not be for the sake of peace. The peace must be in the house.
In the house, present in the
yeah,
house.
And then see your husband having the peaceful face.
And the children.
And the
everybody else,
children.
yeah.
And everything will start to flow. The peace and the joy that which you are looking for, you'll start to find it, because many women, the frustration that which they might say they are feeling, it's self-created.
It's self-created, yeah.
A lot of pain women are going through.
They are creating it.
It's self-created. They've created it with comparison at times, because
and
now,
not honoring their God.
and not honoring their God.
And you know what they must do for this? Before Tswalam, they must go to their phones. They must cancel mutua baby fela mudimu. So that when they see that call coming, God is calling me.
Yes.
That they can start calling their husbands Lord.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, it has brought some understanding, you know, and I think particularly also with men that are watching and listening also at the same time, they get a better understanding, but also with women. But also, there are also women that are doing good.
Yes.
You know, and we clap hands for them.
Yeah.
We pray that they continue doing that.
We appreciate them.
You know, they continue doing that.
But the Kelem it's
Daughters of Jezebel.
Yeah, no.
But yes, you have a beggar and anyway, my brother, you know what? I want to personally thank you.
Yeah.
And on behalf of Insightful Exchange, that you introduced this topic. And I think if we can have more people who, just like you, who says, no, gents, I hear you are talking, but you are missing out on certain things, because we want to talk about these things.
Yes.
You know, I mean, this topic came at a time where men are going through the most, and mental health and so forth. And we've saved somebody's life just by listening to this clip, you know? And we want to thank you for that. And let it not be the last. You know, give us ideas, bring us more, but come back.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
You brought flavor, man, and we love that, you know? So I want to thank you personally, and thank you so much. Bundis.
Thank you.
You know, you and me, man, we fly.
Yes.
I want to believe that we've landed.
Yes, it was beautiful. It was beautiful today.
Yeah.
And then the conversation.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
was
And then,
beautiful.
as we say, thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
For bringing this conversation. And we really need more of such conversation, real, and then that people can bring some experiences, some questions, of course. And then in this format, it was beautiful.
Sure.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And are you closing for us?
Let me close. Gents, we are seeing you at home. We know what you're going through. Don't keep quiet. You know, reach out to us. Insightful Exchange on YouTube, Insightful Exchange on TikTok. We are everywhere. Reach out. Let's talk. Shalom.
Shalom.
God bless you.
Amen.
Hey, niyakhuluma madoda. Yo, this guy.